Welcome to our latest episode of Hidden Pockets, everyone. So, today we have Carlos here. You remember him from last episode, but he's with us again. And returning from his trip to Mexico is George.
Hi, everyone.
And so, before I get started, before we get started, I would like to thank Anda Conmigo for letting us use this room for our podcast. And with that, I would like to talk about summer plans because summer is around the corner, right, guys?
Yeah,
I
it's
hope so.
practically here. We're in May.
So I would like to start by talking about my summer plans. So unfortunately, I won't be going to any sort of international trips or any other fancy trips, but my brother and I will be doing the second best thing and finding places in Utah to go and have fun. Also, helping matters that our parents are also going to come over, and so we have to plan all these activities for them and us to do. But one of the things that we're thinking about doing is going to the Hoggle Zoo in Salt Lake City, which I heard has real polar bears.
Oh, wow.
And I've always wanted to see polar bears because
You've never seen polar bears?
no,
I
there's a
certainly have never seen polar bears.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen one either.
I mean,
Carlos, you haven't seen anything.
Oh, my goodness.
but I mean, none of us are going to the Arctic anytime soon. Maybe except you, Daniel.
I thought that was you.
That's because he's already cold-hearted anyway.
Yeah, I'm cold-hearted, Chris.
But polar bears are such unique animals, and they are very well adapted to surviving the cold. And they're also great hunters too. And I'd like to personally see one in person.
Well, Chris, we can move you to Antarctica, and you can have fun with them there.
Are you still trying to grill me over my love of winter?
No, but they'll
we
try
start
to grill
again?
you for sure.
No, that was already a few episodes back.
Is that the only thing we're doing, Chris, in the summer?
No, because we're thinking about going to Lagoon as well.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Well, we still gotta look into the details of how exactly, like, how we're gonna get there. Just because I gotta worry about balancing, work schedule, and everything. What about in August, Chris? Well, we have something going on in August, right?
Yes, we do.
He has no idea. You don't want to go to California with us?
Oh, yes. Sorry, I almost forgot about that. Yeah, so we have a great roommate who just got engaged to his equally fabulous girlfriend. And so he invited us to go to a road trip to California. And Daniel and we are going to go down to California not just to attend his wedding reception, but also to just have fun and explore the land. I'd never been to California beyond the airport, so I would love to see what the fuss is about.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I drove to California with some buddies a couple years ago. One of our friends got married, and we didn't want to miss out on that. And it was fun. Like the beaches, beautiful beaches. Water's super cold, so if you don't like cold water, then have fun, But
Yeah, but
the
New
food is
Jersey
amazing.
water is also cold.
Yeah. What was you gonna say with that, Chris?
East Coast is better.
Oh, okay. There we go. That's the right answer.
Thank
I
you.
thought you were gonna say something else over here, man. But no, it was really. Oh, the food in California is fantastic.
Say that again?
It's fantastic.
Like we're gonna have a good time with that,
Oh, I don't die. I'm sorry. I know the food will be really good for sure. Hey, who knows? We might see a Hollywood celebrity too, like maybe Tom Cruise.
You really want to see Tom Cruise? He'd
Eh,
probably
prob-
jump off a plane and hit you in the head or something.
Speaking of summer travel plans, I know that compared to Daniel and I, which we were just gonna stay stateside, George, you just completed a trip to Mexico. You want to tell us more about that trip?
Yes, I do want to talk to you guys about Mexico.
Is that like an infomercial, George? Don't worry,
Yeah, I'm a
George,
travel
just-
agent trying to get more sales. But yeah, I think my trip to Mexico was very insightful. There's a lot of introspection. There's a lot of things I saw down there that I think I want our viewers to know about, and then because I think it makes life much more approachable. And so I guess yeah, I'll kind of share what went down there. So as you guys know, our podcast focuses on the Latin perspective here in America, specifically here in Utah. But when I was down there in Mexico, I was able to see that to be honest, we can be at any part of the world, but the things that matter are still the same. So first and foremost, God for me is the most important thing in my life. And I had a kind of like very spiritual experience down there, and I it's renewed kind of my faith, and so that was made clear to me down there. Another one is that family is super important.
Family.
And I know a lot of people, especially in our times, like families don't look like they used to, right? The mom is not in the house or dad's not in the house, fractured families. And so, but, family is who you care about and who cares about you.
Family.
And so that was made clear to me. And then the third thing is probably that, to be a good person no matter the circumstances. I think the world has a lot of bad people, has a lot of people are trying to do bad, but the circumstances kind of justify sometimes bad actions. But if we stay true to being a good person, that's just I think the best way to live life. And so, yeah, I mean, you guys got any questions so far or comments about that? Have you guys ever been to Mexico? Never.
Not yet.
I like what you said, George, about family being important first and foremost.
Family.
I feel like that's something that no one really talks about much these days, but it is a central foundation for everything in life.
Facts.
Not everybody, unfortunately, gets that. Some of us came from single parent homes, and our parent had to be at work most of the time, so some of us were left alone, and it was hard. We had to be raised by older siblings that sometimes didn't even really care much to watch over the younger ones, and they would run off and do other things when they should have been watching their younger siblings.
Yeah, and I share that exact experience, and I think this is exactly why we need to bring this up, because when I'm meeting people here in Utah, the culture here is most people try to make families and try to make it work, and Utah is known for that, is for strong families. But
Family.
with that, unfortunately, is a lot of people are unable to understand our point of view of they don't know what it's like to live in a single parent home, or they don't know what it's like to witness drug abuse at home, or to witness violence at home. And so, but this is a good topic to bring up, because I think the more people I listen to these stories, they're better able to connect with each other. And so, but yeah, I'll get into it. So basically, I go down to Mexico on a yearly trip to go visit my family. And my family in Mexico, they're hard workers, but it's not like what we have here in America. Here in America, we're very blessed. We have many resources, but down there, specifically where my family is from, they suffer a lot. They don't have any running water. It's super, super dry. It doesn't rain a lot. And it's very destitute in certain situations. But I always kind of knew that that's just how life was to me. But kind of this time that I went, I was kind of able to see it from a different perspective. And, it taught me a lot about being humble and being grateful. And also, in the church, they talk about family history work and knowing about your ancestors and where you come from. I think there's a saying that says, you can't know where you're going if you don't know where you're from. And so I definitely had my eyes open down there and kind of seeing some old documentation from my great grandpa, or letters my mom would send to my family when she was young and here in the United States. And it just really helped me see that Heavenly Father, He has, or God, He has a lot of plans for each one of His children, and it doesn't matter if you mess up in life. What matters is that God loves you, and that we try to just keep it a day at a going. And Elder Holland, I think he said once that you know trying our best is important, but our best looks different every single day. Maybe one day as a college student, our trying our best is basically just getting out of bed, and that's it. Well, then that's all that I think God, He'll be happy for that. But if the next day we're feeling good, we have the energy and we have all these things, then our best is maybe doing what we need to do and then reaching out to another person and making sure that they're doing okay.
I guess to kind of relate to everything, it's not for me to say what happened like in our family. Like nothing horrible happened with my brother and I. We've been very blessed that we have two responsible parents, and our parents, they let's just say they did not have all the same, I guess you could just say, blessings that Chris and I had. Like Chris and I have had the privilege of having parents who were there for us, and they always were there to take care of us, keep us strong in the faith, teach us good principles, teach us how to be real men in society, and also how to treat others well, right? But unfortunately for our parents, it wasn't always like that. For them growing up, it was very different circumstances. My mom was in Costa Rica most of her life, and until she came to the States, I guess I could say she got out of a tough situation,
Right.
just to put it very lightly. And my dad, he came to the States very young, but he did not have the like the how's a good way to put it, the foundation, the family that would have helped him out, in different ways. But my parents, and as they always remind my brother and I, they this is not something we take for granted. Like Chris and I know I for sure will do everything I can to keep the legacy going and keep the principles going. But like they always remind us, like how blessed we are to even have what we have. Like in our own family, like that, our nuclear family, but it's like around us, like let's just say that different family members, they go through different things, right? And unfortunately, for not everyone is in the same exact situation as us, or not all of our cousins are in the same spot as maybe where other people could be. But there's just a lot to think about, when it comes to what kind of family you want to have in the future, and also what can you do to lift others up. Like okay, maybe not all of us have the blessing of having a family, like a solid family that we grew up in, but what can we do to help others? Like there's a lot to think about, and it's sad. Like this is something I think about a lot. Like I think about the kind of father, the kind of man I want to be in my future family when I finally get there. And I also want to teach my kids well. Like hey, look, like your ancestors didn't have what you have at all. Like sure, maybe I also didn't have everything you have, but like I'm trying to do the best I can to help you out.
Yeah, I do feel like with like family as well. Like I do want to teach my children like the importance of families and unity, because unity is what makes us strong as a family. And it's important to stay united as a family even through difficult times, because there are going to be difficult times in the family. And being from New Jersey, I've seen like all sorts of families and how do they respond to like different situations, and sometimes it works out in the end and sometimes it just doesn't work out in the end, and it's sad when that happens. And kind of going along with unity, like I do hear like the stories about like what my parents went through, like when they were growing up and whatnot. I don't want that to happen with my kids. Like I want them to always be in. Always want them to know that like their parents love them. I love them, and that if they're going through trouble, they always have someone to turn to.
I do think that that is very great. I believe that families are incredible and they should be there to cheer you on and encourage you to do better. However, with that being said, I do understand that there are some cases where you have to cut certain toxic family members out because they're just either they're just not going to change or whatever other situation may be. It's just best to cut them out. It has been said that blood is thicker than water, but at the same time, family is the people who you surround yourself with who love you and encourage you, care for you, and want the best for you. And sometimes blood family doesn't do that. They try to make fun of you or they try to punch you down and make sure that you don't succeed because they themselves didn't couldn't succeed. So it's important to keep that in mind as well because just like certain friends, not all family members are good.
Yeah, I think we're all like in agreement that there's kind of like a standard way of living, and there's like a higher path. We always Daniel and I always joke about a higher path, but no, it's super true. Yeah, I I know what it's like to live life and kind of not know where you're going, not knowing who family should be or what friends to trust, and kind of losing purpose and losing faith. But I'm so grateful to have kind of experienced all this recently in a trip to Mexico. So I encourage everyone listening in to find those moments to get out of the routine, do something different, go seek, just seek something different. You don't even have to seek faith. You don't have to seek, to help an impoverished community. Just do something different uh, for a little bit, and you'll kind of. I hope that you'll kind of be able to do what I was able to do and kind of have these refreshing thoughts. But David, I don't know what have you had any moments in your life where maybe faith, perseverance, or sacrifice has been put on the line and you've kind of grown from that?
there there were a lot of lessons, and I'm gonna give a shout out to my dad here because like he and my mom, obviously. I'm not forgetting my mom. But there were a lot of things that they've done to sacrifice both their time, their effort, especially to someone like me. I personally don't think I was worth sacrificing for, but they themselves will tell you, yeah, it was all worth it because he's a man now. He's grown up, and he's making decisions that align with what we taught him.
Mm.
Um, and like I like to say, my dad is like I like to say my dad is like a good version of Darth Vader. Not Anakin, Darth Vader, where like he endured a lot of suffering, and he endured so much physically, mentally, emotionally, but he always taught me, and this is a lesson and I'm quoting him. He always told me, "You are stronger than you know," and he always taught me that no matter what's happening, it's you are stronger. And I it took me years to understand what that meaning was. Like, yeah, physically I could be strong, but like that's not the strength he's talking about. He's talking about spiritual strength or mental strength or a combination of all strengths that makes us OP.
Yeah.
And for my mom, she showed me uh, the strength of how forgiveness works. And aside from those kinds of lessons they've taught me, um, they've sacrificed their money. They've sacrificed, you know, um, certain appliances at home or anything just to ensure that we are safe. And um, getting into religion here, my dad always spoke about the blessings of paying your tithing, and even when my dad was like broke as heck, or when my mom was broke, same thing. Like they never, not once, did they ever forget to pay tithing. At least not that I saw.
Right. And then just for our viewers who might not know, can you explain what tithing is?
Um, Basically, from my understanding, it's like giving 10% of what you earn to Heavenly Father.
Okay. yeah.
It doesn't also have to be money. It could also be 10% of your time. You could go
Mhm.
out and do service for the community, for whatever stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just like a sacrifice, like as a form of devotion,
Yep.
basically.
And like it didn't matter to my parents if they were broke as heck or if they were just like beaten down or if they were just stressed or even in my mom's case if she had a migraine. It didn't matter to them. They still devoted themselves to these sacrifices and right now they're doing well. Like they're living in a wonderful house and they are experiencing all the blessings or promises that were made to them or they are experiencing many joys that they never thought would happen ever.
Didn't you just become an uncle, David?
Huh?
Didn't you just become an uncle?
Ah, yes, I am an uncle now.
Nice, nice. Is it
Yeah.
nephew, niece?
Niece.
Niece, okay. Cool. Congrats.
Congrats,
So
brother.
yeah, now my parents are in their 40s and they're grandparents.
No. It's really, really nice, though, to hear
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, true. A true testament of their sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, and you guys can prove me if I'm wrong, but we hear a lot of these success stories, but it's also important to know that like if you have faith that sometimes we sacrifice, but it doesn't work out. And so maybe that's like the next thing we can talk about because all of us here in this room have sacrificed so much in pursuit of our purpose, our missions in life. And I know for me personally, like a lot of it hasn't happened yet. It may not ever happen. And in our faith, some of these blessings might not come until the very end. And so maybe we can kind of each go around a little bit and talk about maybe like one thing that was very hard. Maybe it was a success story already, or maybe it's still pending.
I got one story to share. It's not really something that like that's 100% in that sense, but like it's I would say it still aligns with it. But like back in high school, I got into this contest, this writing contest that my English teacher set up with a publicist. Now the thing is, whoever won first place would get their poem, book, or short story published. Okay, and I was like, okay, I'm 16 and I wanna make sure I can be an author by this age. Like I wanted to write a really good story, and so I thought long and hard about it, and then I came up with this story called Grandma Chuckles, who is basically my temper. And Grandma Chuckles, like I wrote some hilarious things and adventures that she does. Like she's a retired semi-retired criminal. She frames her daughter for bank robbery. She's on
Talk about a
parole.
good family.
Yeah. She's on parole, therapy. She's got a long list of crimes, but like the thing is nobody actually arrests her because they can't overpower her, even though she's an old woman.
Wait, not even the police?
Not even the police. No. Heck, she even in my story, she even insulted her own country because like they awarded her for I think it was because she was the reason that World War II ended. And they awarded her, but she chose a life of crime rather than a life of servitude. And they felt insulted, so they don't even bother anything with her. But like I wrote a really hilarious story, and when my English teacher was reading it, she was like laughing nonstop out of everything I wrote, and I was just like, please let me be the one that wins first place. Unfortunately, I won second place. I was so close,
Yeah.
close, but I lost to a poem. Now that girl that won that publication, I'm just saying, if you're watching this right now, I have so much anger, but so much respect for you. So I love you, but I hate you at the same time.
Turns out that girl turned out to be Stephanie Meyer.
Like, my my teacher felt so bad that I didn't win first place, so she told me about this website called Wattpad, and that's where I put my Grandma Chuckle story. It's not physically published, but like it's at least online.
Yeah, cool.
Wait, did the students vote who was the best one,
Mm-mm,
or did
no.
the teacher decide?
Judges
No,
probably.
there were judges there. They decided the like which one was qualified for publication.
But
I guess my jokes were not poetic enough. I guess.
would you say, David?
Corrupt judges.
Yeah, that's what I say. My story was good, and I know
For-
it was good.
Somebody slipped them a couple bucks.
Facts,
Oh my
first
gosh.
place. Would you say, David, that despite you not getting what you want and you putting the sacrifice and all the faith, that it still turned out okay?
I feel like at the moment, if you asked me at 16, I would say no, because I felt like I had already lost my opportunity to be an author.
Yeah.
But as of now, I am already an author with a physical book called Stitches. And I am not personally, I'm not a fan of how that story turned out, but like my readers tell me that it's decent and it's good, or like they love it. And I say decent, that's literally my part, because I really don't like how the story is.
You also have
But,
two
like,
more books coming out, don't you?
Yes, I do. And and if anyone remembers, also a movie on the way.
Yeah.
Hey.
Something with watches, right?
Yeah, he watches.
He watches. Wait, David, I heard someone got cast, right?
Yes,
I saw that too.
yes. I don't know if I'm allowed to say her name, but I won't say it just for
An
safety.
anonymous source.
Anonymous
Yeah.
source.
But like Stitches did well, and I was surprised it did well. But like I'm not proud of it, and now because a publicist read that story and also found me on Wattpad, this publicist, she is willing to work with me, which I'm very skeptical about it, but like I'm willing to work with her to see like how she can provide a good service to like publication of any or like making my books out there,
Yeah.
My next book is Extrication, which is about a guy who gets kidnapped, and this crazy family, they live in a high-tech household or laboratory, and he's trying to outsmart them, escape them, and he's just trying to survive. And then after that is a book that I'm very passionate about, which is called Dark Tales, and it's pretty much just a mix of fairy tales, monsters, myths, all that kind of stuff, and history.
Well, you can count on me not reading them, but supporting you.
Nah. You can read Dark Tales. I know that because Dark Tales is not a horror story.
Well, as long as it's not horror, I will definitely read it.
Yeah.
So, what would you recommend to our listeners in maybe if they're facing a situation where they did what they could and they failed? What's your words of inspiration?
My words of inspiration are something that my dad taught me religiously, but can also be taken for people that don't believe in a higher power.
Okay.
And it's that there's always something better waiting ahead. So even if, you wanted this business and it doesn't work out, and like, let's say it falls, you go bankrupt, whatever, there's always a way to get yourself back on top, whether it be with the same technique in business or with something different that maybe you become passionate about later.
But regardless, I'm sure there has to be effort in, because
Mhm.
there's a lot
Exactly.
of people, but they give up, and I
Mhm.
think that's important.
I didn't give up. I mean, I love writing. I love drawing, and
Yeah.
like my Grandma Chuckle's stories may not have been published physically, but like I was so passionate about writing, I didn't give up on writing. I wrote more stories, more books, and heck, more scripts.
Well, we're glad you're here. We're glad that you've gone through all that, because we appreciate who you are in your current form, and we know there's so much potential in you.
Oh,
Shout out.
don't
all
fall
right.
in love now.
We'll see. Daniel, maybe you can share something about your life. He's like, back in '89.
Oh man, like
That was
I'm that
1,000
old.
years ago.
Let's see. Well, I guess I'll just keep mine brief. So I may have talked about it last week, but in high school, I had a surgery to correct my chest. I was born with an indented chest. So basically, what that means is my chest, instead of being normal, is there's a hole in it, to put it that way. All right. Um, and so I got a surgery for that. And long story short, it didn't help correct my chest at all. It was kind of unfortunate. More than anything, I did it because I was embarrassed and I really hated the way it looked. Like it didn't. I felt like back in the day, it didn't qualify me as a normal kid, if that makes sense, right? During that time, though, when I was, when I had a bar in me, so part of the procedure is to have this metal bar in you. I was recovering. I was super weak. I lost so many pounds. I was a skinny loser, all right? And sophomore year came by, and this kid and I were talking. He's like, "Hey, Daniel, like you can try out for track and field. There's hurdles." And he was like, "Oh yeah, if you try, you can do varsity maybe." I'm like, "Really? I don't know about that. I used to think I was a fast kid, and I'm like, okay, like, I'm not anything super crazy, but like I could try it out and whatnot, right?" And so I went to track. I tried it out. Long story short, I don't know how this even makes sense, but as time went on, I became slower. I'm like, what the freak? Like, you would think that'd become faster in track, but nope. Oh, and the other thing is, with hurdles, I never actually like was able to do them properly to this day. Like, I remember one time during practice, I tried hurdling, and I hit one of the hurdles so hard on my shin, the bruise looked like a golf ball.
Ouch.
It was beautiful. I looked, I was like, oh, well, that sucks. You touched it. Oh yeah, great pain. I don't think anyone wants to go through that. Anyway, so long story short, with track, it was never really my thing. Like, I thought, hey, like I'll just keep trying this, maybe I'll get better or whatnot. But no, I honestly I didn't get better. Embarrassingly enough, like I said, I got slower every year. Like my peers, they did better than me in many ways. And yeah, eventually, I finally dropped it. And there's this running joke where senior year, since my last year, they gave me a varsity jacket. But I didn't go to the award show. I was like, what a joke. I they only gave it to me out of pity, probably, for all I know. But it wasn't worth it. But, you know, I tried, didn't work. It was a sacrifice. My parents came to watch me during those track meets and whatnot. I sometimes wonder why they go, just to see their kid lose. Anyways, but that was a time. It was a time.
So, are you saying that? What's, I guess, like what word of encouragement can you tell the viewers based on that experience?
Um, Look, it's always good to try new things. Like freak, I'm a fan of trying new things. Like right now, I'm learning different things in gymnastics. It's not easy for me. I wish I did as a kid. But no, I would say with this experience, like, yeah, sure, things of course did not go hope like I was hoping for, right? So, try something new, just know your limits, and also know, hey, like you have a whole lifetime to try out new things. Put in some work, and yeah, just figure out what's best for you. Even if it does take some sacrifice, even if it does take time. Even if you get bruises the size of a golf ball. Well, I hope you guys don't get there, but yeah, no, that's just what I have to say about that.
Right. And then, kind of to kind of close off that thought, you look like a fool until you make it, right? That's, I think everyone can laugh pretty hard at you while you're in the attempt, but what matters is, again, like us of faith, is how God sees us and then how we see ourselves. So thank you for sharing that. Carlos, my man, you're out here. Tell the viewers something about yourself that you think would help inspire our listeners.
Well, my mother came to this wonderful country of ours in the early 1990s. She sacrificed a lot to get here, made a very, for a lot of Latino viewers out there, you may relate to this. If you have parents or maybe you yourself, they made a very dangerous journey to get to this country in order to make a better future, not only for themselves but especially for their children. Now, when I was born, uh, it was the late 1990s, but my mother had no idea that I was blind until I was about 2 years old. Uh, she cried because she didn't know what my future was going to be. But as I grew older and went through different experiences, um, it was a bit difficult because I couldn't see, and other kids were doing certain things that I wish I could be doing, but unfortunately, because I couldn't see, I wasn't always allowed to participate in certain things. But when I got into my high school years, or probably even my junior high years, I started taking a fascination in video production, like cartoons, movies, and stuff like that. And I always thought that that was very fascinating. The process that the process of that of making all that. So I took classes, I studied, and I learned how to do it. And now the one thing too that was very interesting was there was a family member of mine that assumed that he was pretty jealous of how I was succeeding in certain ways. Because I remember him telling me once that I was never going to graduate high school. And then later on, I graduated high school, and I would rub it in his face every time I got because he was a jerk to me. So I want to show him, look what I did that you said I couldn't do. And basically, this whole experience has just taught me to, not give up, just keep pushing forward. And people may like laugh at you and may say, "Oh, well, that's too difficult for you. Why don't you try this?" But I didn't give up. I wanted to do this, and I studied really hard. And especially due to technology nowadays, it's made it a lot easier for blind people to use computers, smartphones, and such, to the point where I've been or like videoing a lot of my adventures and travels, and I go out jeeping with one of my friends occasionally, and I record all those adventures. And just recently, this past Thursday, I rode Amtrak for the first time, which is the national rail system that we have here in the U.S. And it was amazing because I'd never been on an Amtrak train, and I just thought it was so cool. To sit in the coach cars, I thought it was very fancy, even though some people may not think it's that fancy. To me, it was like the most luxurious thing I had seen up to that point.
Dang.
And it was nice to sit in the observation car, and just because I'm blind, I'm not going to be stopped by that. I'm going to do whatever I want so that I can live life to the fullest.
And so with that, I would like to encourage everyone to remember your stories. Remember to keep the faith, and remember and to remember what life has brought you to thus far, what your trials have shaped you to become, and what your faith has led you to become. And with that, I'd like to say thank you to all of our wonderful viewers out there who are watching our podcast, sending us positive feedback, and making us a part of your lives. And as always, feel free to suggest topics that we should discuss, and feel free to also suggest what we can improve on. And with that, I'd like to say thank you, and we hope to see you next time.
Thanks for having us in your homes.
See
you.
everyone. Bye bye.